Hi, today we will have a discussion about the Module 5 Radio Resource Management and Mobility Management. So, in the first module, we have seen the basic key features of long term evolution. In continuation with the second module, we have discussed the multi carrier modulation, then the channel processing as well as downlink channel processing and uplink channel processing, all those things, and what is the parameters, what are the schemes, what are the techniques we are going to adapt for the better higher speed data rates, all those things. So in this model we are going to see the two types of management, that is radio resource management and the mobility management. Today we will have a brief about the radio resource management, that is abbreviated as RRM. Let us discuss what do you mean by that, why we want to go for this radio resource management. It is nothing but it is the system level management. We will call it as co-channel interference or radio resources and other radio transmission characteristics. If we consider the things in wireless communication system, for example, we will take cellular networks, or we can take wireless local area networks, or we will take wireless sensor systems and radio broadcasting networks. So in this radio resource management will involve the strategies, some of the strategies as well as some of the algorithm for controlling the parameters. So what are the parameters we need to control, in the sense that is transmit power, user allocation, then beam forming, then data rates, then handover criteria, then modulation scheme and error coding scheme. Why we want to control all those things? In the sense, it's very simple. That means we want to utilize the limited frequency spectrum resources for the higher data rates. So this is the basically things about the radio resource management. Now we will come to the point that radio resource management in LTE. So this LTE is nothing but the packet switch network which can provide the high speed data services. Okay, so this EPS is nothing but evolved packet system, and here it is the transmission or the transfer something or packet data between the network gateway, that is nothing but packet data network gateway, that is PDN-GV, and the user equipment. So the transfers between the PDN-GV, GW and the UV, and some of the QoS parameters has to be mapped with this, that is nothing but data rate, latency, then packet error rate. So these are the three QoS. QoS is nothing but the quality of service requirements. Then let's see the diagrammatic structure for the evolved packet system. Here we can see the radio bearer, then here radio S1, S5, S8, SJ. These all are the interfaces actually, right? And this is called evolved packet system, and this system needs to cross multiple interfaces, that is nothing but S1 interface, S5 or S8 interface, and also this each interface will be mapped to a transport layer. It is mapped to a transport layer bearer. Okay, now first we will see the S5 and S8 interface. Okay, so what it will do, for what purpose we are using this S5 S8 interface, means it will transport the packet of an UPS bearer between a E node and the SG. It is between a E node and the SGW. So the transfer the packets between these two layers. So that we are using the interface called as S5 and S8. The next we will see about radio bearer. Okay, what it will do? It transfers the data between the user equipment and the EUTRON such a way. The next we will see the signaling radio bearer, that will be represented by SRB. So what is the use of signaling radio bearer? By the name itself we can tell that it will carry the radio resource controlling signaling messages. We were aware about that data message is there, control message is there, signal messages is there. So this signaling radio bearer is used to carry the radio resource control signaling messages, and this will be abbreviated as SRB. The next we will see about the data radio bearer. It carry the user plane data. So we are aware about that in the LTE there is a two plane, that is nothing but user plane and the control plane. So data bearer DRB will carry the user plane data. Then this radio bearers, in the diagram itself we have seen, in the radio bearers are mapped to logical channels through two protocols, okay, through the layer 2 protocols. And these bearers can be divided into two categories. Okay, one we will call it as guaranteed bit, that is GBR bearer. So this guaranteed bit GBR, this guaranteed bit GBR is nothing but minimum bit rate, okay, that will be available to the user equipment. Okay, when how we can allow the resources, how in what condition the resource will be allowed, in the sense the bit rate higher than the minimum bit. Already one minimum bit rate is allowed to the user equipment. Whenever the bit rates higher than the minimum bit rate will be allowed if resources are available. Okay, so now what is the application for this guaranteed bit rate bearer? In the sense it can be a voice, streaming, then video and real-time gaming. These are the applications for the guaranteed bit error. The next second we will see about the non-guaranteed bit rate bearer. So here it is there is no minimum bit rate like that. Here the achieved bit rate will be depends on the some characteristics that we will call, say it as system load, then number of user equipment served by the eNode B, and this is the scheduling algorithm. So now what will be the application for this? The application of this guaranteed bit bearer is nothing but web browsing, email, FTP and P2P file sharing. So these are the two types of bearers which are we going to use in the radio resource management. In continuation of this, let us see a user plane protocol stack. Okay, we are dividing the protocol stack into user plane protocol stack as well as the control plane protocol stack. First we will see the user plane protocol. So what is the responsibility for the user plane protocol? In the sense it is responsible to transporting the ID packets, that is IP packets, internet protocol packets, which carry the information specific data from the, we have seen here that PDU, that is packet data unit, from the packet data unit network gateway to the user equipment. That is the main responsible in the user plane protocol stack. So how it has been done? This can be done by encapsulating the IP packet. Okay, for that we are tunneling them from the PDN gateway to a eNode using a GPRS tunneling protocol. And now we are using one more protocol called as packet data convergence protocol. Okay, that is nothing but PDCP protocol. For what purpose we wanted to use the PDCP protocol? In the sense that is from the eNode B packet, or how the eNode B packet will be transported to user equipment. So for that we are using PDCP, that is nothing but packet data convergence protocol. So this is nothing but the control plane protocol stack. Here if we see that NAS, S1AP and it is MME, mobility management entity. So the transformation has to be happen between the mobility management entity to the user equipment. So here we will see from this we can understand that it is used for transporting the signaling between the mobility management entity to the user equipment. Okay, and this type of signaling handled over the control plane, which is related to some QoS. QoS is nothing but quality of service, that is bearer management, quality of service management, then mobility management. So functions are related to paging and handover, the paging and the handover. Now we will see the layer 2 structure. So how this layer 2 structure are splitted. Okay, this layer 2 structures are splitted into some of the sub layers, that is nothing but MAC sub layer, it is medium access control, radio link control layer, then PDCP is nothing but packet data convergence protocol. So these are the three sub layers, and the layer 2 protocol is subdivided into three types of sub layers. Now this from clearly sees that the radio bearers has been mapped to logical channels. See, this is mapped, radio bearers are mapped to logical channels through this PDCP and the RLC sublayer. See, this is the radio bearers. This radio bearers is mapped to the logical channels with the help of the PDCP and the RLC sublayers, and there is a service access point between the physical layer and the MAC layer, and the MAC layer and the RLC layer. That is the service access point. So in LTE, if you see in LTE, there is one RLC and PDCP entity per radio bearer in the user equipment, and you know, in the diagram itself we can see that there is a one PDCP and one RLC entity. Such a way, one MAC and its medium access control entity in the user equipment, and E node B for all the radio bearers. Okay, here the main thing in the diagram, if you see, the MAC layer exists the multiplexing techniques here. Multiplexing techniques. It multiplexes several logical channels. So a logical channel is given as common control channel, broadcast control channel, paging control channel. So several number of logic channels is multiplexed in the same transport channels, that is taken care by the MAC sublayer. So hope everybody understood this end-to-end EPS architecture. Then continuation of this, let's have a brief discussion about the PDCP overview. Thank you.